Hey, good morning. Oh, I was going to say good morning, Fit Fam. Suppose you guys are our family too, aren't ya? We are going to talk about, I know what it is, I just wrote it in the description. We're going to talk about how you're conditioning your mind. No, I think it's super important to understand how our mind works and if we're looking more drawn to success or more drawn to failure. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Dorothy is joining me. That's why the chair is empty and I'm to the side. But let us know if you're in here watching us live. It is the long weekend, so I don't know if people are already packed up and headed out of town or if we're going to have a lot of people hanging out inside because it's not so warm out there. But I suppose that's every May long weekend now, isn't it? Good morning, Mom. Share this with I suppose we could. Sure. Why not? So, yeah, we got lots going on, and we want to share with you. So it's Friday, and it's always nice to wake up together at the end of the week and talk about how our week went. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy Friday, everybody.
So today I thought it'd be a good time to talk about how our brains are conditioned. I think sometimes we don't realize, but we are conditioned one way or the other. So that's going to be a good topic.
I'm just gonna get in here. Start taking some people.
I have, what is it? I have pu'er tea, and what is this? Earl Grey? And what do you have in yours?
Earl Grey, almond milk, and maple syrup.
Oh, nice. Let us know if you guys are coffee drink or tea drinkers out there.
For some reason, this is.
I know, mine is too.
But it's not even a green cup.
I don't know how that works. Maybe the inside is green.
Funny.
So Dorothy's going to be tagging some people. If you guys would like to tag anyone in the comments, you are more than welcome. This is a public page, so you can tag anyone. In our private groups, you can only tag people in the private groups. We have some True Form gear. This side, it's backwards. We have some True Form gear coming. So thanks to everyone that put in their orders and let us know they want some True Form gear. We're super excited about that. Seems like there is a lot of speed bumps when it comes to the whole clothing industry. We just ran into another one. So
you did?
Yeah. So, but hopefully we can get that in next week, and we'll see what happens. Ooh, Bengal Spice, yes. Bengal Spice is delightful. I'd imagine most people are coffee drinkers out there. There must be different types of coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, what kind of coffee are you enjoying?
Where did it go? There's the tags. Okay, got to E.
Dorothy's gonna tag some people. It's always nice to notify people and let them know that we are in here live. So when it comes to conditioning your minds, I think a lot of times we don't realize that our brain is actually conditioned for different things. And then so the easiest one is conditioned for success or failure. Many times our brains are conditioned for happiness or sadness. I mean, like we walk around upset, angry, depressed. That's a mindset. And I think it's really difficult. It's a difficult subject for people to understand and wrap their head around, and may even cause some anger. Like, it's not my fault I'm angry all the time, right? But then that's the mindset. The mindset is of where you are and how you're situated, because we all know what it's like. We have to understand, like, it's what we focus on in most cases. So when we focus on things that aren't so happy, it brings our energy down, brings our mood down. So if we focus on things that are or we focus on different things, then we can be, well, let me put that on mute. If we focus on different things, then it changes our mood. It changes our state of mind, state of our being. Many of you know who Tony Robbins is. So he talks about your state, your mental state, your overall state of being. And then he uses triggers to help change the state that you're in. And it's quite impressive. He was one of the first self-help guys I started learning from. Not the first. I think Jim Rohn was first, but Anthony Robbins' mentor was Jim Rohn. So at any rate, they talk about your state of being. So this isn't.
You know how I can tell that you've been following him for a really long time?
I said,
Is because when he first started, he went by Anthony Robbins, like his first few books. Author Anthony Robbins. But now everybody calls him Tony. Tony! And it feels weird for me to call him Tony because we've always known him as Anthony. And I don't know, there must be some reason, marketing reason, that he went with Tony Robbins. But for me, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same.
Maybe he has a new publicist.
Anthony Robbins.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like Anthony better. But maybe that's just because that's what we know him as.
What do you guys like?
Yeah.
It's probably just a nickname, right? I'm sure his parents called him Anthony. Maybe his friends called him Tony.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But I'm sure at some point his publicist or marketing person was like, "Oh, you need to go by Tony."
I'll tell you this quick story. One of the first stories that he explained, or that stuck with me, that he explained, is that he said he's walking down the street and he talks about being broke, and I don't know. I'm sure if I think he may have cleaned buildings, office buildings at some point, and he didn't really have much money, and he was walking down the street, or sorry, he was becoming more successful, and he started to have money in his pocket before he had none. So he was walking down the street, and a homeless person walked up to him, and he said in one pocket he had some money, like a roll of cash, and he said he would have been happy to give the guy, whatever he wanted, 20, 40, 60 bucks, whatever he had. And then he said in the other pocket, he had a pocket full of change. And the guy walks up to him and he says, "Excuse me, sir, can I have a quarter?" And you have to hear him tell this story. It's quite entertaining. And of course, these types of individuals are really good storytellers. So the homeless guy says, "Do you have a quarter?" And Tony, he looks at him and he reaches down in his pockets and he knows what he has in there. And he says, "Are you sure you only want a quarter?" And the guy says, "Yep." He's like, "If you could spare a quarter, I would be very grateful." And then Tony pulls out the change, and he pulls out a quarter, and then he pulls out a stack of cash, and he gives him the quarter. And the guy looks at the coin, and he looks at the cash, and then he looks at Tony, and he says, "Remember, life gives you whatever you ask for." He put the cash back in his pocket and walked away. But I would take that a step further. I would say life gives you what you demand. And then Tim Ferriss would say, life gives you not what you deserve, but what you can negotiate. So I think those are all super powerful when it comes to what we want out of life.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have listened to we listened to an audio book on negotiation, and we've read some books about negotiation. And it's hard to ask for what you want, or like, what did you say? Demand. You demand, right? Or negotiate for what you want. And it's hard. It's hard in certain situations. Like whenever, for example, not that we're staying in a lot of hotels at these times, but even like when you go to a hotel and like tell them what kind of room you want and at what price, right? It's like, I want this rate and I want this kind of room, right? And because usually we just pay what is listed, right? But even those like negotiations, it's hard. Or what other things have we done recently negotiation wise? Or just like I don't know who I was talking to recently. Like, it was some type of provider, if it was internet provider or a credit card company. And I was like, "No, that's not acceptable. I want that waived. I want that fee waived." And then they did. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it worked. I asked for what I wanted." And, right? Like, I'm not saying it's going to work like in every situation, but I just think sometimes we're afraid to even ask, or we don't even think to ask those questions, right?
And Dorothy's a very good negotiator.
It's not easy, though.
you have to, but we talked to a friend, and it doesn't have to be like extreme. When we stay in a hotel, we want a view. Like, who wants the view of a brick wall? And usually we go to nice places, and we want we want a view. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm gonna change my thing. So we say like one of the things is we want a view, and like they'll give you one if you ask for one.
Or one of the last times we stayed at a hotel, we asked for an upgrade. He's like, "Oh, to upgrade to this room, it's $80." And I was like, "No, I would like that complimentary, please." Right? Like, your upgrade will be $80. No, I want the same rate, please. Can you do that complimentary? Let me see what I can do. Right? It's just.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and it can be fun. Like it can be like. And sometimes they say no, we can't do that, and or that often they'll say we can't do that, but we can do this. But the point that we're getting at here is that you have to ask for things, and then you have to like you have different expectations. Some people, in most cases, like it was something as simple as we often ask for an extended. We often ask to get in early, like can we get an early check-in, and can we get an extended checkout? And 99.9 times they say okay, because they have extra rooms. So, but the thing is, we told one of our friends that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do that." But it's just we travel quite often. But the thing is that we understand that you can negotiate in just about every situation, and then you have to change your expectations to the things you actually want instead of what someone else wants of you.
Do you think negotiation has like a negative vibe to it, and that's why?
Yeah, and I think people are scared
It's scary
because you don't want to offend someone or ask for too. Oh, I don't want to ask for too much, but it's part of life. Like it really is. It's the same thing as sales. Like people don't like to talk about sales, or like salesmen are like always considered like sleazy. And don't get me wrong, we've ran into some sleazy individuals. But I lost it.
Where are you going?
Oh, but the sales thing is like just because you're negotiating, like we're all in sales. Like we're all selling our story. We're selling our day. You're trying to sell your kids on breakfast if they don't want to eat breakfast. Like, so we're all in that category, just on different levels. It's the same thing with negotiations. Like if you have kids, you're negotiating. If you have a boss or coworkers, you're negotiating. Can you do this work? Well, I can do that work on Tuesday. You want it done on Monday. Like it's all okay. But we just want to tie that into, it's not just about business. It's not about negotiating. It's about asking for what you want, demanding, and then having your expectations raised, which in most cases people don't want, because the higher your expectations are, the more chance you could fail.
You know what the thing is that you have to know what you want. And most people have no idea.
Very good point.
Or like, and I'm guilty of it too. Like I'm in the middle of making a big decision right now, and one of the reasons I'm having a lot of trouble making this decision is because I don't know what I want. So I had to figure that out, and it takes time, and you have to sit with yourself and your thoughts and your feelings, and it's scary. So that's why I've been avoiding making the decision, is because I don't know what I want, and it's hard. Right? But that's with everything, like, right? Like,
well, that's what I said to someone recently. We had a short conversation, and they said, "Oh, well, it's been hard to do this." And I said, "Anything worth doing is hard." And like anytime something comes across that's super easy, I don't even know if it's worth it.
Yeah. You often say to me, "Well, if it was easy, then everybody would do it, right?"
It's true. We got Anna in here.
Hey, Anna.
Good morning, Fit Fam. Susan here.
Hey, Sue.
And then Dana's in here too. Good morning, Dana. Nice to see our Fit Fam represent. And then we have Anna says negotiation when.
Pull it on. Oh. Okay. Oh, don't. I got the look.
There was just a delay, so.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm gonna have to delete these.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have to pull it on.
Okay, you do that, Drew.
Okay.
See, I was negotiating for what I wanted. I want that comment on there. No, I'm kidding.
It's true. Good morning, Jodine. Got Jodine. Jodine's actually a distributor for us in the Edmonton area, so we actually got to meet her in person. We've been working together for quite a while, maybe 6 months, probably longer than that. So nice to see you, Jodine. And Jane's in here. Morning, Jane.
Hey, Mom. And it says negotiation when mutually beneficial is usually more successful, but good point. I have to know what I want, and I can't perhaps point out a benefit for the other person. and I can perhaps point out a benefit for the other person.
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, and 100%. It's beneficial for both sides. If you look at the hotel thing, I mean, in most situations, a negotiation should benefit both sides. Otherwise, one person is going to feel spited
Yeah.
or taken advantage of, and then it doesn't work out very well. But there's a whole art to negotiation, and like we've read some books and we listened to some audio, and that's more business wise. But we're talking about an easier avenue of life, and it's as simple as I want to I want to be fit and healthy. So your negotiation with your mind is I don't want to put in the work. I'm not talking about you, Anna. So your negotiation is I don't want to get up and go for that morning run,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to complete my goal of running 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a constant battle with your own self, but that's your brain conditioning. Like your brain could be conditioned to be like for Dorothy, for example, could be conditioned for I'm going to get up and get it done in the morning, no matter what, because that's where my most success is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the conversation is, I don't really want to do that. And then your stronger side says, I'm going to do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a micro example of the negotiation you have with yourself, but that's how your brain is conditioned. Some people's brain is conditioned to be like, it's cold out and it's so easy to roll back over in bed, so I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a condition that we don't realize.
Or one of the things that we hear all the time in the fitness world, or have heard a lot being personal trainers, is because we strongly believe in morning routines, getting up and getting your workout done, for example, right away in the morning, like the first thing you do. And one of the ones we hear all the time is, oh, well, I'm just not a morning person. Well, you've conditioned your brain not to be a morning person, right?
In your body.
In your body. Like you've conditioned yourself not to be a morning person. You can change that. Mm-hmm. And most people just don't. It takes effort, right? And most people just don't want to put in the time and the work into changing their mindset or changing that. So
it's hard.
It's hard. That's why, right?
And then we let that hard win out. But the hard is what makes it worth it. It's what makes you stand out. What makes you see the results you want. So you could be one way and like not a morning person, continue to see the results down here and waver, or you could break out of that shell and say, I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to become a morning person. And then our success rate for getting your workouts in, for getting your breakfast in, is like night and day. It's 100% better when you're getting that stuff done in the morning. Unfortunately, we have too many people that have the mindset of like, oh, that's just not for me. Then you say, well, the success isn't for you then. What else can you say?
And I wouldn't have totally believed that you could change. I did at one point believe, well, some people are morning people and some people are night owls. That's just how you're born. That's how your body works. And I wouldn't totally have believed that you could condition yourself to what you want until like I saw Drew. Like Drew used to be a night owl. And then he's like, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. It's not serving me anymore. And he conditioned himself to be a morning person.
Yeah. It's possible, but it's a lifestyle change, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't go out like early on. I'd go out and maybe I'd go out to a restaurant or I'd go to a bar and sit there and watch the game because the games are on late. Like that's a lifestyle choice, and I didn't feel like I could be a successful entrepreneur, and that was very important for me to be able to feed myself. But then I'd be up working late in the hour. I would get like a boost of adrenaline and excitement and motivation at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I'd be up working till 2 a.m. I'd be up writing and inspired and working and fall asleep at 3. Then I'd wake up at, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock. And like now half our day is over, half our morning is over. But then I would miss out. I would miss out on calls. I'd miss out on emails. I'd miss out on the social media community, because starting at 10 o'clock is 5 hours behind. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference of changing your lifestyle. I knew I had to go to bed earlier. I knew I had to, and it was a slow transition, but I knew I had to change. Like I'm not sitting out watching games very much anymore, which is funny because I did just the other night. It's like a kind of wild card playoff game, but then I made that sacrifice and I enjoyed it, but I know that's not something I'm going to do on a regular basis, because sitting up all night just for a game isn't going to change my life. But if I go to bed earlier, which means I can get up earlier, and then I have a proper breakfast and proper morning routine, that's going to change your life.
I think the thing that is scary for a lot of people, I know even myself, is that it doesn't end. Like the effort that you put in is continual, right? And it wears thin pretty quick, right? So we have to be very clear and very focused on what we want, and that's why it's super important to know what we want, because if we don't, then it's going to be that much easier to lose focus and to not put that effort in.
Well, and that is the hardest part, to understand that it's always an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're always kind of battling with yourself up and down. But I really feel like you like eventually, as you continue to win. I lost the comments. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I've got comments.
Eventually, as you continue to win, you change your mind. Like you can change your body, and you can change your mindset. Like before, maybe it was failure, like continually fail, like yo-yo diets, keep failing, can't get to my workout, I slept in, alarm clock didn't go off, whatever it is. But if you can change that, and you can start getting up and start getting into a morning routine, you can stack up some workouts and put some consistency together, then you're slowly changing your mindset of, oh, I can succeed in this, I can make that happen. And the better side starts to win out, and you start to be more successful, and success breeds success. And then you start to separate yourself. You separate yourself from the people in your life that drag you down. You separate yourself from the excuses that drag you down, and that's where you really find your success.
Mm-hmm. Heather jumped in here. Good morning, Heather. And Dawn. Dawn's in here too.
Morning, Dawn.
Good morning. Says good morning.
And Dawn can probably tell us some stories of her own. Dawn's going through an incredible success story of her own, which is awesome to follow around and see. But that's the thing, is like there's people all the time that start in one place and they make a change in their life, and then they're in a different place. We see that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to go far now. You can go anywhere on social media and see life-changing transformations. But it begins with a mindset and believing that you can make those changes, taking action toward them, which essentially ultimately changes your mindset of where you were to where you are now.
Mm-hmm. Constantly negotiating with yourself.
That's right. The good side has to continually win the negotiations.
Yes.
Otherwise, we keep getting dragged down, and then we're not happy,
mm-hmm.
and then we're miserable, and then our mindset is thinking about the past, and we want to be thinking either in the now or in the future.
So that's why we always have to come back to the what do I want in the negotiation. So for example, let's just bring it back to workouts for a minute. We had said, oh, well, I don't get up for morning workout because I'm not a morning person. Well, what do you want? Well, you want to be fit and you want to be healthy. So not getting up, like sleeping in, or my alarm didn't go off, like that is not going to get you to what you want, right? So you have to make that negotiation with yourself. Well, I'm going to get up and do it so that I can reach my goal. Yes. Or have what I want.
So the things that you want have to be stronger. Like your solutions have to be stronger than your excuses. That's all there is to it. Like if you continually come up with better solutions than your excuses, stop winning.
Because we can find an excuse for anything.
Good. we could justify not doing just about anything. Yeah. But it's hard for us to justify doing things, because doing takes more effort because there's action. Mm-hmm. Like you actually have to physically do something. That's what the action is. So having excuses, in most cases, there's no action. You just sit there. Be like, nah, don't feel like it.
It's actually in detoxify yourself.
What's that? We
need to start coming up with better solutions than excuses.
Instead of better excuses. But that came from coaching, and I would sit there and talk with someone. And I say, well, how come you haven't been getting your workouts in? And they say, oh, well, this and this happened. Okay, let's write it down. So we write it down, and we come up with solutions for each one of the, let's say, reasons right now. We won't say excuses. So they come up with reasons why they didn't get their workout in. They say, let's write it down. So we come up with solutions for each one of them. Next week, every one of those solutions we came up with, now they came up with excuses why each one of them didn't work. So then I was like, all right, I'm quite resourceful. And I'm like, okay, if that doesn't fit in your lifestyle, let's come up with another solution. The next week, more excuses came up. And I would like, it's very clear to me that their excuses started to became better than the solutions. So it didn't matter what kind of solutions I came up with. There was always there it was a mindset. Like their mind just kept going to different solutions or different excuses regardless of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Every it's crazy.
Because your mind is conditioned to that.
That's how your mind is conditioned to, like, it doesn't matter what the solution is. Your mind just naturally goes to an excuse or a reason why or a justification. But we can change that. We have to make our solutions stronger than our excuses.
A lot of times we try and put it on an external, like something other than ourselves.
Oh,
well,
yeah. It's not my fault.
Exactly, like our excuses or our reasons why we couldn't do something, but it all is on us, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like
yeah.
it's on us. We have to own it.
You have to be accountable to yourself, and that's the thing, is that when we put our excuses onto someone else, then we remove the accountability on ourselves. You could say, oh, it's my fault that I didn't meal prep. Because when you sit across from someone and we talk to them about, oh, how come you didn't follow the meal plan, or how come you didn't stay on track of nutrition, they say, oh, I didn't meal prep. Okay, so why didn't you meal prep? Well, it was because this and this happened to me, But if you take that, well, I didn't get that done because I didn't take action. I didn't go to bed early enough. I slept in. I missed out on prep. I didn't go to the grocery store. That's much different. Now you connect the accountability that your lack of action has caused that result.
And it puts us in the driver's seat.
That's right.
Like we're in control.
That's right. And you have to be in control of your own life. If everything that happens in your life is because of someone else, then you're a victim. You have no ability to control the outcome of your life. And I feel like that's a dangerous place to be in. If you're in control of nothing, then you're just kind of wavering around.
You lost your comments. But Don says, I always tell myself, if I want to be better, I have to do better.
Yes. I think Anna said that. Or I don't know who got that first. But
well, there's...
once you know better, you do better.
That's one. That's a big one in our Young Living community.
Oh.
Once you know better, then you do better.
And what did Don say?
Don said, I always tell myself, if I want to be better, I have to do better.
Yeah, and that's the action part.
Yeah.
The action part is taking action towards your goals. You know what I really liked is so we talked about a couple of like books and other resources, but The Secret.
Oh yeah.
The Secret was a good one. But what, at least my personal standpoint, if you guys don't know The Secret, it was a really
manifestation book, really.
Super popular book a while ago. I don't know, it might have been in like Oprah's book club or something.
May have been.
At any rate, then they made a movie about it, and it was really cool. And we believe in that quite a bit. But in my opinion, what they're missing is the action. Like they don't talk about any type of action that you take to achieve the visualization or the mindset or the manifestation. It was all like mind, and we believe in your mind is super powerful. It's the most powerful thing that you have. But if you don't condition yourself to take action and you're just sitting and thinking, don't think it's going to happen.
Now, The Secret is based upon manifestations, right? Creating your destiny, you're creating your dreams. So you think it, you believe it, you breathe it, you live it. But like Drew said, they don't really talk about the action steps there in the book, which we believe is one of the most important ones, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. But it's a process. It's that mind conditioning we're talking about. You have to see something and visualize it, and you talk about it. It usually goes from thoughts to words to actions. So, unlike Dawn says here, she says, I always tell myself I want to be better. I have to do better. So, if you're thinking about something, then I feel like you start talking about it, and that actually puts it into action. That's an action. But you can't just talk about something and not do anything physically. So then the third step is actually moving. So like if you're running, I like your running example, of course. But if you talked about, you're like, oh, I think it'd be cool to run every day this year,
Hmm.
and then you talked about it a bit, but then didn't start running. What do you have?
If I didn't start
Yeah,
running.
you have
Yeah.
nothing.
Or even like with my, I've always wanted to do like a marathon. I have a board, like a running board in our fitness room. And I have like it all tracked, like my fastest 5K, 10K, half marathon. And the full marathon spot has been sitting empty for years. And I always told myself, limited myself to the fact that a half marathon is really challenging. There's no way that I could do a full one. Like, I couldn't imagine myself doing that. And I always put that limit on myself. But then I, I have always wanted to fill that spot on my board in the fitness room. I'm like, it's sitting empty. So I wanted to, like I did, that's something I wanted to do, was to challenge myself to run a full marathon. But I let the fear take over because it's super challenging, right? The fear. And I was scared. But then once you like take the action, so now I'm like, oh, I registered for the race. I got to do that. But so the action step is done. I've registered for the race and I'm actually running. But one of the big things is the visualization. Like when I'm out running, I'm doing the visualization of the half marathon. Like every time I my full marathon, yeah. When I lace up, like I'm on the course, right? Like I'm on the race route, and I do like visualization is a huge part of my training. And last time when I ran my half marathon, it was my best half marathon because well, there's a lot of reasons why, but one of the reasons was because I incorporated that visualization into my training. And other things like magnesium.
So we have Vanda. Good morning, Vanda. Did I already say good morning to Vanda?
Nope.
Vanda and Steve just had an anniversary, so congrats, you guys. Vanda, if you have a new address, can you send it to me? I know you guys are building. I don't know if you've actually moved there. But send us your address if you don't mind, please. And then, so Dawn says, I finished my 10K training this week and I've decided to keep going and train for a half now.
Nice.
Why don't you guys run together? What time does Dawn run at?
I'm not sure.
Dawn,
do you want to run at 5 a.m. time?
I would like, well, it's lighter out now, but I would like Dorothy to run with someone because sometimes it's a bit dark.
No.
Like that.
It's always nice to run with other people. It gets lonely, especially on long run days. It gets a little lonely.
Vanda said thank you. Dawn says,
Addie says hi. Hi, Addie.
She doesn't see you at school, but she sees you here. I will send it.
I'll see her Tuesday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can't wait till Tuesday. I miss my little people. It's not funny, but like I don't think people who aren't teachers realize that your students, like your classroom, become like you develop this relationship and you're like a little family. And that's why the end of the year is hard, because it's like you have to leave your little family. Like you create this community and this, I don't know, I love my kids. So, and then at the end of the year, you have to say goodbye, and it's like, your family's moving on. And,
Dorothy gets very attached.
And especially this year, I found that with my kiddos, it's been like extra, like we've been extra close, I suppose, because there was so much, like this is such unpredictable and vulnerable and emotional time, so we are even more connected group this year. And so I'm like, oh gosh, when the 2 weeks of school, like they announced that we were going online for 2 weeks, I was like, they better not take away my last few months with my kids. Like I need to have a proper like ending to this year, because last year just felt like it was just ripped away, right? Like you saw them, you had your last day with the kids and we didn't even know it was our last day with the kids, and then it's just like boom, they're gone. It's tough. But this year, it's not happening.
It's so difficult to have someone else control your future. That's why I can't work for someone else. Like, in a moment, they could say, "Sorry, you're not working anymore." Dave says, "Keep it together. Reel it in. Pull it together."
There was a song that came on the radio the other day, Dave. Reminded me of you.
The Tootsie Roll?
Let me see your Tootsie Roll. And I was like, Dave, where you at? I need to sing this song with you.
Dorothy's making a playlist on my old, is it iPod?
You know what is like kind of embarrassing is that people are always, well, not all the time, but sometimes people ask me, what kind of music do you listen to
Oh my
while
gosh,
you're
you're going
running?
to share that?
And I'm
Eddie
like,
might be listening.
What's that? Eddie might be
One of
listening.
your students might be listening.
That's okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't think it matters.
No, but Drew has this old, like probably 20 years old.
It's very old.
Like the first iPod ever made. Super old. And it has all of his college music on it. And at that time, what kind of music did you listen to, Drew?
I have no, I'm not ashamed. It's gangster rap. It's all hip hop and old school, like mid 90s.
Yeah.
90s rap.
And I don't know why, but I made this like a while ago when I was training for I think it was actually Rosina's half marathon. I got a hold of Drew's iPod because I didn't have one. And this was quite a few years ago. And I was like, man, this music really gets you going. And Drew's like, I cannot believe you're listening to that music. But I got all into it.
Oh my gosh. So now, like, if we have a Sirius XM in the vehicle, so I like to put on there's like a couple hip hop stations, or like, I don't know what you call them.
Fly.
XL. And anyway, there's like a 90s station, and then there's like a hip hop station, and every once in a while, like an old school song will pop up, and Dorothy will start like singing the words, and I'm like, how do you know those words?
Got hold of your iPod.
But it's so old that I can't update it, and I don't know how to move the songs from. There's thousands of them.
Tons.
And I don't know how to move them from one to another. But I used to travel. I carried that around with me everywhere. That was actually a gift from my clients when I went to Australia to play. Anyways, I can't believe I still have it. I took that to Australia, Germany, all over the U.S.
You even still have stuff in your notes section?
Did
you ever go read that?
No.
There was like directions to certain places and like blog posts written in the notes section.
I have no idea. What are you doing going through those?
Oh, just being Snoopy. No, I actually had to write something in the notes section the one day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at all of this stuff in here."
I actually haven't even used that thing in probably years.
I'll be sad the day that is no longer working.
We should try to get those backed up somewhere. Anyways, it's pretty cool that they still work.
Dawn says she listens to 90s rap most of the time when she runs. It's seriously the best. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I have someone else that shares that with me.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah. What's the other ones I like?
Oh my gosh, maybe we don't get into
that.
That is so funny. What are the other ones I like? Let me start listing them. I'm just kidding.
But Dave is my karaoke buddy.
Yes, it's the worst thing you ever hear in your life.
Oh no, we are very good.
I think I have some recording of it somewhere.
Yeah.
How about I share that?
Except when he picks songs I don't know. Oh man.
Luda.
Ludo. Oh boy. This is gonna go downhill real fast.
Oh my gosh.
Now you know my dirty secret. Oh man.
All right, everyone. I don't have anything else to say that's worth saying. That's worth repeating.
That's all you have to say about that.
I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us Friday morning, Fit Fam. So we do have, we have shirts. If anyone wants a shirt, hoodie, that order was supposed to go in this week, but another speed bump.
There
So
was some complications.
yeah, won't go in until next week. So if any there's last minute orders, we could probably squeeze a couple in. We have a new product that we released with our Fit Fam.
Can I tell them?
No,
Oh, sorry, guys. Can't
because
tell you.
we need more before because then we get a bunch of orders and we don't have them.
Okay.
So we have a new product coming out soon, and we have 2 private groups. If you guys want to be part of either of our private groups where we share and announce these type of things, let us know. So that's super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was just gonna wish everybody a happy long weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather is nice. It's been cold.
I think Saturday's supposed to be nice.
Can't believe people who go camping. It's so cold.
We went for a walk
Brr.
last night in our winter jackets.
Yeah.
Oh, again. Sue says, have a great long weekend, you two.
Susan said, and keep listening to your favorite music.
Sue, what's your favorite music? All right, everyone.
All right.
Have a wonderful day, and we will catch up with you later.
Bye, guys. I guess who's turning it off?
Me.
Okay. Have a great long weekend.
See ya.
Bye.